Hi, this is Congressman Tom Cole, the 4th District of Oklahoma, and this is another one of our congressional weekly chats. It's actually been a fairly quiet week in Congress. Most of the voting actually concerned efforts by the Democrats to undo a number of rules that were passed by the Trump administration toward the end of President Trump's time as president. They were successful in that, I'm sad to say. One of them undid some really common sense regulation in terms of methane emissions, and will make it more difficult to drill and produce oil and natural gas in places like Oklahoma. But again, these were not major items as things go. I think there was also on the Senate side significant discussion about infrastructure and what is being advertised as a breakthrough, but I would caution everybody to be a little bit careful. There was a supposedly bipartisan infrastructure deal of about $1.2 trillion. Most of it would be what we call hard infrastructure, that is roads, bridges, waterways, ports, broadband, things of that nature. Unfortunately, after the deal was announced, the president said that unless he got a second bill, which has a lot of the things that Republicans don't support, that is soft or human infrastructure, more money for elder care, more money for a variety of social programs, all unpaid for or paid for with higher taxes on corporations, that he wouldn't sign the first bill. So we're not exactly sure what that means. And Speaker Pelosi said she won't bring the compromise bill up unless his other bill is also passed by the Senate and sent to the president's desk. So I think we're a long way away from a deal, and frankly, stunts like this where the president has a side deal with the speaker and with the progressives in his own party suggests that maybe the bargaining wasn't really entirely in good faith. But again, we'll hope for the best and see what actually happens. I also want to talk about another big fight that's coming up. That's a couple of weeks away. But Democrats have signaled both in the president's budget and in a series of congressional hearings, they're going to try and get rid of what's called the Hyde Amendment. The Hyde Amendment has actually been part of the law. We authorize it every year in the Appropriations Committee for 46 years. And the Hyde Amendment simply says no federal dollars can be used for abortions except in cases of rape, incest, and danger to the mother's life. So it's very narrow. Now, if states want to pay for abortions, they can do so, but 34 states have chosen not to do so. So 16 do pay for abortions with taxpayer funds, but 34, including Oklahoma, do not. The Hyde Amendment has never been a source of great contention. As a matter of fact, it was a big bipartisan compromise. And every single Democrat in the House, except freshmen, have voted for the Hyde Amendment over and over and over again for many years. To try and undo this great compromise at this point is going to cause a great deal of legislative turmoil. Over 200 Republicans have signed a letter to congressional leadership on both sides of the aisle, including me, saying that they will not vote for any appropriations bills that remove Hyde protections from unborn children. I feel very strongly about that. Frankly, we won't get a deal in the budget, and we'll risk either a government shutdown or what's called a continuing resolution, where we keep things as they are if we don't reach a deal. But if Democrats try to get rid of Hyde, I don't think that they might be able to get it out of the House. They'll never be able to get it through the Senate under the Senate filibuster rules. So this is a situation where they've chosen an ideological fight that I think is going to have practical consequences that they're going to regret, and they're going to be difficult for the country. But the life issue is an important issue to many of us, and to frankly many Americans that are pro-choice still don't think taxpayer dollars ought to be used for abortions. They respect the fact that a large percentage of our population sees abortions outside limited exceptions as inappropriate, and so they've generally supported that. So this is a big move to the left by both President Biden, who for 40 years supported the Hyde Amendment. It wasn't until he was running for president last year that he reversed his position. And this is, again, a situation where dozens of Democrats really the great majority, have supported the Hyde Amendment, or at least been willing to vote for it, for decades. So to change it now, and to change it over the vehement objections of pro-life Republicans and Democrats is an enormous mistake. But that fight's going to be coming up. We'll be talking about it a lot in the next few weeks because I'm the top Republican on the Subcommittee of Appropriations where the Hyde Amendment is normally enacted, the so-called Labor, Health and Human Services and Education Subcommittee of Appropriation. We're going to be waging that fight as soon as we get back from July 4th. Indeed, it's already underway now. But just stay tuned because at the end of the day, I think pro-life forces will prevail, and I do not think the Hyde Amendment will be taken from the law, but it will be quite a terrific fight. And I think we'll have quite a few fights going forward between the post-July 4th period and the end of the year. With that, again, I wish you a happy 4th coming up. Probably have a chance to talk to you one more time before then. Again, thanks for taking the time to tune in, and always interested in your views and ideas, so please stay in touch with our office.